I am 81 years old. In 8 decades, I've told thousands of truths. Some changed lives, some saved relationships, some built trust that lasted generations. But there's one truth I told, one brutally honest moment in 1987 that cost me 15 years. 15 years of friendship, 15 years of partnership, 15 years of opportunities that vanished the moment the words left my mouth. I've spent 37 years replaying that conversation, asking myself the same agonizing question. Was I right to tell the truth, or was I just early? Most people think honesty is simple. Either you lie or you tell the truth. They're wrong. The real question isn't whether to be honest, it's when. Because truth has a timeline. And if you speak it too soon, before people are ready to hear it, before the context is right, before the wounds have healed enough to accept it, you don't get credit for being honest. You get punished for being reckless. This is my story about what I lost by telling the truth too early. This is about the brutal lesson that took me 15 years to learn. Honesty without timing is just damage with good intentions. Stay with me. This cost me more than you can imagine. In 1987, I was 36 years old. My best friend, let's call him Richard, was about to make the biggest mistake of his life. He was going to marry a woman I knew was wrong for him. Not wrong morally, not a bad person, just wrong for him in ways that were obvious to everyone except him. I saw it clearly. She was controlling. She isolated him from his friends. She criticized everything he loved. She needed him weak to feel strong. I watched my confident, vibrant friend become smaller, quieter, less himself every single day, and everyone could see it. His family whispered about it. His other friends talked behind his back, but nobody said anything to his face. They thought, it's his life. He'll figure it out. It's not our place. But I couldn't stay silent. We'd been friends since we were 12 years old. We'd survived everything together. I thought our friendship was strong enough to handle the truth. I thought I owed him honesty. 2 weeks before the wedding, I sat him down. I told him everything. I was gentle, but I was direct. I said, Richard, I love you like a brother, and I have to tell you, I think this marriage is a mistake. I think you're marrying her because you're afraid of being alone, not because she makes you better. I think you're going to wake up in 5 years and realize you've lost yourself. I thought I was being a good friend. I thought I was being brave. I thought the truth would set him free. I was wrong about all of it. Richard stared at me for what felt like an hour. Then he said 5 words that still echo in my head. You don't know me anymore. He walked out. The wedding happened. I wasn't invited. Not just to the wedding, I wasn't invited back into his life. 15 years of friendship ended in one conversation. And here's the thing that haunted me. He married her anyway. My truth didn't change his decision, it just destroyed our friendship. For months, I told myself I did the right thing. I was the only one honest enough to tell him the hard truth. Everyone else was a coward, and I was courageous. I wore my honesty like a badge of honor. But underneath the pride was something else. Devastating regret. Because I started to realize that I hadn't been brave. I'd been arrogant. I'd confused honesty with wisdom. I'd assumed that because something was true, it deserved to be said. But truth without timing isn't noble. It's just noise. The worst part? I was right. 5 years later, exactly as I'd predicted, Richard's marriage collapsed. She'd taken everything. His confidence, his savings, his connection to the people who loved him. He was exactly as lost as I'd warned he would be. And when he needed his best friend most, I wasn't there, because I'd prioritized being right over being present. I'd chosen my truth over his timeline. It took me 15 years to understand what I'd done wrong, 15 years before Richard and I spoke again. And when we finally did, he said something that changed how I think about honesty forever. He said, "You weren't wrong about her. You were wrong about the timing. I wasn't ready to hear it. And when you forced me to choose between your truth and my decision, I chose my decision. Not because you were wrong, but because you made me defend something I was already doubting." That's when I finally understood. Truth has a readiness requirement. People can only receive truth when they're emotionally prepared to integrate it. If you deliver it too early, before they've had their own realizations, before they've hit their own walls, before they're asking the questions your truth answers, you're not helping them. You're just making yourself feel better for being honest. I told Richard the truth when I was ready to say it, not when he was ready to hear it. I prioritized my conscience over his journey. I treated honesty like a gift I was generously giving him, when actually I was dropping a bomb he wasn't equipped to defuse. The cruel irony. If I'd waited, if I'd been there silently supporting him through his marriage, if I'd held my truth until he was asking for it, he would have eventually come to the same conclusion on his own, and I would have been there to help him through it. Instead, I lost 15 years trying to save him 5. Here's what I learned about honesty that nobody teaches you. Being honest isn't just about telling the truth. It's about telling the truth in a way that can actually be received. Honesty without empathy is just cruelty. Honesty without timing is just impatience. Honesty without relationship is just judgment. Real honesty requires all three: the courage to speak, the wisdom to know when, and the love to deliver it in a way that heals rather than harms. I've watched people destroy relationships in the name of just being honest. They say brutal things and hide behind, "I'm just telling the truth," as if truth is a shield against consequences. But honesty isn't a free pass to unload your observations on people who didn't ask for them. There's a difference between honesty and venting. There's a difference between truth-telling and truth-dumping. There's a difference between being honest because someone needs to hear it, and being honest because you need to say it. The question isn't, is this true? The question is, will saying this true thing at this moment in this way actually help the person I'm saying it to? If the answer is no, then your honesty is serving you, not them. I learned this the hard way. I lost 15 years with my best friend because I prioritized my truth over his readiness. I thought I was being a good friend. But good friends don't force people to face truths they're not ready for. Good friends walk alongside them until they're ready to see it themselves. Now let me be clear. I'm not saying you should never tell hard truths. I'm not advocating for cowardice disguised as kindness. Sometimes truth must be spoken immediately, regardless of timing. If someone is in danger, you speak. If someone is being abused, you speak. If someone is about to harm themselves or others, you speak. Safety always trumps readiness. But most truths aren't emergency truths. Most truths are developmental truths. Things people need to learn, but need to learn on their own timeline. Richard eventually divorced. He eventually realized everything I'd tried to tell him. And 15 years after our friendship ended, he reached out. He said, "You were right. I'm sorry I couldn't hear it then." And you know what I said? "I'm sorry I said it then. I should have waited until you were asking the questions." We rebuilt our friendship. Slowly. Carefully. It's not what it was. You can't recover 15 years. But it's real. And it's built on a different kind of honesty. The honesty that waits, the honesty that listens, the honesty that speaks when silence has prepared the ground. The truth I told Richard cost me 15 years. but the lesson those 15 years taught me was worth every day. Honesty isn't just about what you say. It's about when you say it, how you say it, and whether the person you're saying it to can actually use it. Truth without timing is just pain. Truth with timing is transformation. I am 81 years old, and I've learned that being right is not the same as being helpful. I've learned that some truths need time to become useful. I've learned that forcing people to face realities they're not ready for doesn't make you brave, it makes you impatient. I've learned that the most powerful truth is the truth that's invited, not imposed. And I've learned that sometimes the most honest thing you can do is stay silent and stay present until silence is no longer what's needed. If you're holding a truth right now, a hard truth about someone you love, ask yourself, am I telling this truth because they need to hear it or because I need to say it? Am I speaking at the right time or just the convenient time? Will saying this strengthen our relationship, or will it force them to choose between my truth and their autonomy? Because here's what I learned from losing 15 years. The goal of honesty isn't to be right. It's to be helpful. And sometimes the most helpful thing you can do with a truth is hold it until the person you love is ready to hold it with you. Truth costs time. Sometimes it costs years, but premature truth costs even more. It costs relationships, trust, and the chance to be there when the truth finally matters. If this resonated with you, please subscribe. Like this video if you've ever lost something by being honest too soon. And tell me in the comments, what truth did you tell that cost you time? I'll be here, reading every story. Because at 81, I finally understand that the best conversations happen when we're honest about the cost of honesty itself. Thank you for your time. May you be brave enough to tell the truth and wise enough to know when.